I don't think I've ever been too hooked on legendary hero stories. These stories of ultra-dominant players considered practically as deities of their video game who beat everyone and all the time. It's beautiful, but that's not what makes me tick. It's just that I like something else. Something that only fighting games actually bring me. You know, that moment that happens very rarely, but when what was supposed to be yet another predictable tournament turns into a near miracle. Today, I want to talk to you about what I consider to be the most extraordinary fighting game ever played. I want to tell you about the day when an unlucky stranger was put in front of a god and decided not to look down. Street Fighter overall is just two characters face to face who will blow punches at each other until one of them doesn't get up anymore. There you go, it's the legal and painless version of shirtless one-on-one in the Walmart parking lot. It's the easiest game to understand in the universe, and at the same time, one of the most difficult to master, not only because each character has a combo list as long as your arm, but mostly because when the opponent rushes at you, and you start to wonder, okay, is he going to jump and attack me in the air? Will he slip and attack me from the ground? Or attempt to hold to break my guard? Will the blow come from above, down there in front? With a light or quick blow? Not only do you have to make a split-second decision, but you also ideally have to play a character who has good answers to these situations. And that's not always the case, and that's why there is, as in all fighting games, what is called a tier list. When a character knows how to respond correctly to almost all situations, he is usually put here in the top tiers. When it is a little less the case, we find him in the middle of the table in the mid-tier, and when the character's answers consist of a stutter, a half-stroke, and a potential broken controller, they are put in the abyss of the tier list, they are put in the low tier. And the advantage of playing a low tier character is that hardly anyone does it, so no one is used to playing against it, but the downside is, well, everything else actually. The character will have to train 300 times harder than the others for an equivalent or even worse result. But what's fascinating is that it doesn't prevent some people from still deciding to play them, even competitively, and becoming what we call low-tier heroes. But we have to be realistic. Even if we want to support them, to encourage them, the truth is that in a tournament, seeing them win is usually not an option. In fact, it really only happened once a low-tier character won a major tournament, when a pink-hatted panda struck down the Tekken World Championships in 2018, but not only is it a panda in the hands of Rangchu, a Japanese player who has trained with the best all his life and who everyone agrees is a prodigy, but above all, it is an event that the fighting game community considers an anomaly. An anomaly that will not happen again, at least not in a major tournament with hundreds of players and among the best in the world, not in a tournament like the CEO. Even before the CEO 2021 starts, I can almost tell you who will be the winner based on just two criteria. It will probably be a character at the top of the tier list, and it will also likely be an American player. Since the tournament takes place in Orlando, and the United States is undoubtedly the main talent pool for Street Fighter, and, well, let's be honest, I can even tell you that it will undoubtedly be Punk, because he's the best player present at this tournament, and he's potentially one of the best players in the world, not only in Street Fighter, but in fighting games, quite simply. On the other hand, I can also tell you who has almost no chance of winning: MonoPR. And there are three reasons for that. The first is that he's not a pro player, he has an activity on the side. The second is that he's from Puerto Rico, a country sorely absent from the Street Fighter scene. And the third, the one that really lowers his chances of winning anything to close to zero, is that Mono, the character he plays, it's Fang. Fang is the least played character in Street Fighter, and it's not only for his Slender Man look at the Japan Expo, it's mostly for his gameplay. He's slow, his damage is rubbish, he has almost no defensive ability, his special is a weak poison that does damage over time but can't kill, and his combos are ultra complicated for no reason. Fang is not a character you choose when you want to win at Street Fighter, and that's not really why Mono chose him. He plays Fang because he likes to play Fang, that's all. And he's not going to the CEO to win either, he's going there to have fun. His goal is just to get out of the group stage, to enjoy the tournament as much as possible. And yes, getting out of the group stages in a tournament like this, with a character like this, is already highly unlikely. For that to happen, you would already need a dose of magic, and on this day, magic looks like that.
I was worried about something of an anti-under power crouch. My God! Troyboy was just trying to retreat. I don't care about your Tangle Stone. Go back. Uncontested.
When Mono finishes first in his group phase, everyone says, okay, so cool, he has achieved his goal, and a Fang in the top 24 of a major tournament is already very beautiful. It's just a shame that his road inevitably ends here, because now it's Nephew on the other side. Punk's little Padawan to whom he taught everything, an excellent player who performs well, who a month earlier finished first in the North American Online Capcom Pro Tour, a content creator who knows the game down to the smallest detail and who plays an aggressive Kolin with a lot of pressing, everything Fang hates. Nephew is logically the end of the tournament for Mono.
Again, this pressure is coming in. You got that from the depths, and that was so good.
It's just not guaranteed. You're gonna have to get real lucky. Advancing forward from the East Coast, a great idea to do so.
Yeah, there it is. Like I said, he actually huge. But the crush.
Orange on the screen. Vanity said invincibility was looking pretty good. Nephew almost got an uppercut outside the big screen instead. And Punk can still kill
perfect. Oh, that was so good. And again, the side switch. You're looking for the left, right, but he goes for the throw. Poison. Oh, activation station. This is going to be so close to set point. And again, the poison. You got to
be trigger 2 at the ready. Looking for that activation on blinking. There it is.
Yeah, that's just too much to deal.
He's shifting out. Nephew now completely resourceless. He can throw the cartridge. There's still no meter.
Oh, throw in the anti-air. It's going to be so close. You have to run away. Ah! With the poison, plus the gray out to the bomb up. Mono is going to top.
When Mono washes Nephew, you know what's going on? Well, exactly the same thing. People say to themselves, wow, that's incredible. It's the first time that a Puerto Rican player arrives in the top 8 of a major tournament. The first time that a Fang arrives in the top 8 of a major tournament, but that's unfortunately where the story ends, because he now has to face Joe Umarigan and his Akuma. Incarnated violence, the end of the story for Mono.
Trying to work out of the corner and off that trigger.
He's gonna get this in. So the momentum going.
Awesome. And the 4 years again.
Joe a second time, dog. Checking him down as well. Pull back, throw, touch,
overhead. We got one more guess.
Jump, what?
Oh, he's gonna. Oh my God, he's still alive.
But he's starting to wake up a little bit. Once he hits again. Down there, bar one
Poison ticket. No confirm. Is he gonna finish the job? Yes, he is.
This is Mono moving on in front of his family, taking down Joe.
Okay, this time Mono won by a narrow margin in reality, but the fact that he reached the top 4 of this tournament is already completely historic. He's only one game away from making it to the finals, and you know who's in his way, obviously Punk, the player I present to you as unquestionably the best of this tournament. But there, surprisingly, no one says anything anymore. No one thinks it's the end of the story for him anymore. And Mono takes Punk by the collar and destroyed him on a violent 3-0, and you're gonna tell me, but my digital buddy, we don't know how to tell a story anymore? It's not going well at all. You hype us that Punk is the best player of this tournament since the beginning of the video, and you tell us just like that without even leaving a little suspense, without even showing some images of the massacre. Correct. And in fact, it's completely normal. Because what I didn't tell you is that the CEO is a double elimination tournament. What it means is that every player has 2 lives, and Punk is so serene, so sure of himself, that since the beginning of this tournament, he has been playing Vega, another low-tier character, but who is not his main character at all. In fact, Punk is so dominant that he can't afford to play a little bit haphazardly as long as he still has his 2 lives. And now that he has only 1 left, he is sent to the loser bracket, where he will meet his friend Nephew. Except that this time, he brings out his Karin. His real character, a character for the time being considered top tier, and obviously he massacres him. And in reality, this is where this story really begins, because it means that Punk goes to the finals. and the person who's waiting for him there is Mono and his old Fang. Except that two things. First of all, Punk took the fact that he was sent to the loser bracket by a Fang. He was obviously winnowed by all the people present that day, so he is not happy. And secondly, Karin is the worst possible matchup for Fang. But here we are talking about Punk's Karin, who is without a doubt the best Karin player in the world. So, question, what happens when you have the best Karin in the world facing a quasi-stranger who plays a character even worse than a pineapple pizza?
I don't know.
So that's where you want to be if you're bad. Foreframe. Can't challenge too much and you're dead. That's like, just help me out though. Don't whip a damn button. I said don't whip a damn button! Stay in touch.
It looks to have, with this pick, started to dismantle the defense of Mono, and this is looking like such a strong start after such a close winner's final side. I hope Mono was Mono the opportunity to get anything started, and with all that gray light, we're gonna die for just the 2 bars. We don't even need to catch.
I can't wait though. I'm not going in.
Checking the dash again, and Punk is gonna close out this round. Getting on the verge of a quick 3-0 for the bracket. Close out this round. I think
Don't
no, the drop.
But he finds a Pierce anyway to face Punk with a reset.
Mono was smashed. Oh, he tried to defend himself. He tried to find attack windows here and there, but no, impossible. It's Punk on the other side. And to tell the truth, he didn't just lose. He took a beating. He took a lesson from Street Fighter, really. So why am I telling you this story? For a reason that you already know in reality. Every player has 2 lives, and yes, that also applies in the final. To really win this tournament, Punk will have to beat Mono a second time, which on paper should not be complicated at all, but when you play a character like Fang, when you play a low tier and you can't rely on your character's strengths since he doesn't have any strengths, the only way to get out of it is to bet on the weaknesses of your opponent, which means analyzing it, and analyzing it takes time. It takes a while. That Punk just gave Mono during this first part. In fact, Mono has to bet everything on the mistakes of Punk, who between us is not the type to do a lot, but there is no other solution than this, and now the only question is mistakes. Will he do enough?
Absolutely, this is looking like the best round that Mono has had since this grand final started. But just like that, the party is starting for Punk, finding that low forward confirm.
So Kolin and people out, it looks like. And Mono was the challenge right there. Punk right back in the driver's seat. Hands it to a 10. Back throw. Gets the whip up. The media to commit to get.
Is he going to be able to close it out to the game? Yes, he is. A game on the board for Mono.
Mono. The people are cheering. It's Mono that beats you. In that division, so much weight on the points.
It's going to be a big confirm now.
Still pushing in the corner in the throw.
Light ticking away. We're at a point where this is one touch for either player. Gets away with the EX dash, and Pope will do it for Mono. Back around. It's the same thing. It's the same thing from the winners. Crouch dash. There's the activation of the V-triggers. Now Mono, that poison ticking away. And here we are again on your own. Any Pope will do it. Look at that. Mono is on tournament point.
Off the deck, a full point on the line on Punk's side. Look at how the great how Kolin ran in the view reversal.
But having to use the view reversal, it's hard to get the poison stacks away, which means that we're not going to see. But he gets baited.
Mono back in the way.
No, they're ready to do it. This is what the Brown is going to do it. Mono is the champion.
Champion Street Fighter 2021 gets it done. Mono is the hero of the day. You can see his family coming in.
Oh my God, they're rushing the whole stage. They're rushing the whole stage.
You see how much this means to him, how much this means to his country, his family.
There, precisely here in this image, I think there's the special charm of fighting games. Because even if it almost never happens, the truth is that every tournament has the potential for something this crazy to happen. Because Mono didn't just win the 2021 CEO, he didn't just win against Punk or for his country. He won against all the people who once told him that his character is crappy and that he can never win anything with it. He won for all the people who have already been told, let go of this, you won't make it anyway. And that's for me, the greatest victory of fighting games.